What's up guys, Schmitty here, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be unboxing what could potentially be the best gaming controller of all time. Today we're going to be unboxing the Xbox One Elite Series 2 wireless controller. So this baby just came in today. It is November 4th. This is launch day for this controller. I had it pre-ordered, so it was delivered on this day, and I am very excited to open this thing. I haven't even taken it out of the wrapping yet. This is my original Xbox One Elite controller. I've had this thing for almost 4 years now. This thing came out in, I think at the end of 2015, sometime during the holiday, but they had no idea how popular the controller was going to be. So it was really tough to get your hands on them for the longest time before they finally had a huge shipment of them out in like March. But I ended up getting mine in January of 2016, and we're almost here at the end of 2019, almost to 2020, so it's been close to 4 years since I've had this thing. And I love this controller. This thing has been my baby. It has stayed true and worked like a charm for the longest time. I love this controller. It's an absolute beast, and I'm excited to be able to try out the Series 2. So anyway, let's get this bad boy out of the packaging, out of the box, and see what it's all about. Alright, now we should be able to just set this thing down. Ayo, top comes off like a charm. Oh my goodness, we'll set that to the side. And here is what it looks like when it comes out of the box. We have this protective case similar to the one that was in the original Elite controller, but this one is a little bit different. So we're going to take this thing out of the box. This case feels so nice. So I think I still have, hold on, let me check. Yep, there we go. Alright, this is my original case from the first Elite controller. And so, I mean, side by side, they're pretty much identical. It does feel like there's a little bit of a texture difference, and there's some other things that we'll get to here in just a little bit. And let's unzip this bad boy and see what awaits inside. Oh my goodness. There is the Elite Series 2 controller. This thing is just an absolute beauty. So like right out of the box, you can tell some of the differences with this controller straight off of the design. And the first thing you might notice is the grips. So I'm going to take this thing out of its casing. Oh my, I almost don't want to touch this thing. It's so beautiful. All those grips feel so nice. So the grips now are totally wraparound from the back over here all the way up until the front, kind of more where your palms go, which makes a lot more sense. Going back to my original Elite controller, obviously they don't wrap around, and I had to get these replaced. Shout out to Scuff with the replacement for the Elite grips. Mine just eventually just kind of crippled up, started falling off. They weren't really even able to be used much anymore. Luckily, Scuff had created this replacement grip thing that was very easy to install and just honestly saved my controller, you know, of course, for the time being. But these grips have been totally redesigned. They're totally wraparound now. And so they shouldn't have some of the same trouble that caused a lot of people many issues with the original, which that's very exciting. It feels really good in the hands. I'm just hoping that these do stay a lot better than the originals. It feels like they should. Who knows? We'll wait and see. Here on the front, you might notice some slight differences. The D-pad's a little darker. You'll see these three little indicator lights. So on the first Elite controller, you were able to swap between a couple different controller settings if you wanted one set for one game and one set for another. This controller has 3 different ones now, and these indicator lights will show which one that you're on. So instead of flipping the switch up here like you would in the original, you just kind of tap this button to cycle through them all. Other than that though, on the front, other than a much more sleeker look, different grips, and those indicator lights, not really a lot. If we go to the back of the controller, you guys might notice some differences. So these paddles are quite a bit shorter, at least they look quite a bit shorter. Yeah, holding them, they definitely feel shorter, so maybe some less accidental hits that you might have had in the original Elite. They do feel a lot snappier. They don't feel like little buttons you press. They are much snappier and clickier, which is nice. One thing you might notice up here, there's no battery pack. This thing has a totally built-in chargeable battery that we'll get to in just a second. It's kind of part of the case. We'll get to that. But it's kind of like a PlayStation 4 controller now. It just charges. That's all you do to it. It's supposed to have like 24 hours of gameplay time on a single charge or something crazy like that, which is just unbelievable. And then probably one of the last things you would notice here on the back is with the trigger stops. So with the original Elite, you had 2 trigger stops. You had one that didn't stop the trigger at all, just kind of let it flow, kind of like it is right now. If you flipped it down, it kind of gave you a trigger stop. This feels about like my Elite one has been, where it kind of stops it somewhere around like halfway, it seems like. Makes for, you know, you being able to tap the trigger much faster. You don't have to go all the way down. Really good for shooters. But on this controller, they have a third setting, which is more of a feather trigger. and that thing does not go down hardly at all. That's crazy. Yeah, this thing hardly even moves with the feather trigger. This is just give you even more of a trigger finger while shooting in like FPS games and stuff like that. I don't know if I'll use that one. I'm definitely used to the middle one to where it's a trigger stop and not like a feather trigger. I don't know. I'm gonna have to mess around with that. Other than that on this controller though, I mean, you got some nice grips on the triggers now, which were not there in the original Elite. I think they started to add these on some of the new normal wireless controllers, but they were definitely not there on the original Elite for sure. And overall, this thing feels, I don't know, just a lot more sturdy, a lot more compact. It feels really, really good, and I mean, it is just a beauty of a controller. So getting into some of the things with the case here, you guys will notice some of the components that are inside. So they changed some of this stuff around from what was in the original Elite casing. So you still have that other D-pad. If you want more of a traditional D-pad, you can swap that out. I'm kind of used to the circular D-pad. It just makes it a lot easier to hit, so that's the one I always use. You'll notice something down here, which is a little key. So one cool thing about this new Elite controller is if you pop off your thumbsticks, which are still magnetic, which is just, I love it. You can actually take this key and tighten up your thumbsticks. So you just kind of turn them in there, and then once you put your thumbstick back on, it's got a different tightness to it. So Xbox One thumbsticks are really loose, but by using this key and tightening or loosening, I don't think you can go any looser than what the normal Xbox One setting is, but you'll have a lot tighter movement with your thumbstick, which is something that you may want. That was a big difference coming over from 360 over to Xbox One, as the thumbsticks were a lot more loose. If you want that 360 feel, they've added that back into the Elite Series 2. And they tested and tested and tested to make sure it was the exact same feel that you had back in the 360 controller. So a lot of people didn't like the Xbox One controller just from some of those minor differences from the 360. So that's one step toward achieving sort of that past glory of the 360 controller. But that's not all. Going back here into the case, you might notice these top two sticks. They look a little bit bigger than your traditional Xbox One thumbstick. Well, that's because they've brought back the 360 thumbsticks. If you guys have been missing the 360 thumbsticks from the original 360 controller, you're going to love this. They have brought back, remade, totally redesigned the 360 thumbstick that was on all the 360 controllers, obviously. And now, just like your normal magnetic sticks that you can put in your Elite, you can snap those back onto the Elite Series 2. And it just feels so good. And if you combine this with the fact that you can tighten that sensitivity on your thumbstick, give that a nice turn in, and you can kind of feel the clicks. I think there's 3 different settings, but doing that together feels just like a 360 controller. It's so crazy how they were able to do that. So if you're somebody that was a 360 fanatic, just have not really adapted to the new Xbox One controller, this thing allows you to pretty much go back in time, which I think is a really, really cool feature. I don't know if I personally will take advantage of that, since I've gotten more accustomed to the Xbox One, but that feature is there. And I just think that's really, really cool. So getting back into the case, there's a couple more things. You have another thumbstick here, which I believe, yeah, that looks just like a normal, traditional long thumbstick. So the normal long thumbstick is still there from the original Elite controller. They gave you another one of those. And there's also one more stick down here on the bottom right. If we pull that out, this is kind of your medium dome thumbstick that was in the original Elite, but they've kind of worked on it, added some grip to it, so it's not just a smooth top. So that one is there as well. And there's only one of each of those they found due to some data collecting back with the original Elite. The people didn't really run both of them, especially with the longer sticks. Those are only viable really on the right side. However, with the 360 thumbsticks, there are 2. So if you do entirely want to go back to that 360 feel, they do have 2 thumbsticks for that, so don't worry about that. And since I know someone's going to ask in the comments, maybe, since we're on the topic of those thumbsticks and all this stuff, does the original Elite stuff work on the new Series 2? Well, let's give it a shot. So I'll take my thumbstick off here on the right side, grab my one from my old Elite, and oh my, that is surprising. So it doesn't work. Your original Elite thumbsticks will not work on the Elite Series 2. That is interesting. I really did not expect that. I'm going to try the D-pad. Let's see if that works. Okay, the D-pad works, so that's pretty much the same. So I guess if you're worried about D-pads for whatever reason, they'll still work. Don't worry about that. So a no on thumbsticks, a yes on D-pads. Let's go to the back and try the paddles. So we'll take out this top right one here. These do not come out as easy as the first one, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. Grab this one, slide it in. Oh, okay. So it does. Yep, the paddles do work from your original Elite controller. So there you go. So to answer that question, for anybody wondering if your old Elite stuff does work on the new one, thumbsticks are a no. Your old Elite thumbsticks will not work on the new Elite Series 2. Your D-pad will, as well as your paddles. And I think the last thing really to talk about here with this new controller is the new charging mechanics. Anyway, here in the controller, you guys will see this little guy right here. This is your new charging station. So by taking the controller and putting it on this little station here, it will charge. And the nice part about all this is it kind of clicks on there. You guys won't be able to really feel it, obviously, but it kind of clicks on there when you put it inside. It's got like a magnetic connect to it, which is really cool. And then also in the bottom of the casing, it's got some magnetic pull to it as well, so it doesn't just kind of fall out of the box. I mean, I'm trying to shake it out. It's not coming out. It's got a magnetic connector to it, which is really nice. And then also in the back of the case, if you guys want to leave your stuff in the case, because I know some people did want to do that with the original Elite, there's this little flap down here that you can connect the cord into inside your charger, and then you can just kind of set that up as its own charging dock if that's what you want. If not, you can still take this out of the case too and set this somewhere wherever you like, but they do give that option to leave it in the case, which is awesome. One thing I just noticed is where's the... must be in the box. Oh. Yep, here it is. Oh man, we kind of got some goodies here. Let's open this top flap, because I don't know what's in this one. Okay. Oh, looks like we have a little, a guide for the controller here. And a 14-day pass for Game Pass Ultimate. Sweet. Gotta love getting some nice little Xbox goodies. And then this last little part here should be our new... bada boom, pop that open, and there is your new cord, which I believe, yep, USB-C. That's gonna be really nice. That's gonna fit in there all nice and snug. Oof, that's nice. So yeah, no other cords will work as well on your new Elite Series 2, unless you have a USB cord already, but I think all of mine are just normally micro USB, so this is the only cord that's gonna work on my new controller, which I think is kind of funny. They give you the option to either plug that directly into the controller or into the charging dock, which is kind of cool. So I think that's gonna about do it for all the unboxing and all the new stuff with the Elite Series 2. This controller is missing one thing though. Oh, here we go. That should fit like a glove. Bada boom. Perfect. Control freaks. Use code Schmitty. But anyway, that is going to do it for everything with the new Elite Series 2. Overall, just kind of from what I've gotten for feeling the controller, I haven't played or anything with it yet. That's going to take some time and some further playthrough and stuff. And overall, I think at the core of it, it's going to feel like an Elite controller. But this thing does offer a lot of cool new features that I think a lot of people are going to be really pleased with. I mean, first of all, the wraparound grips feel really nice and hopefully are going to be a lot more durable. The new thumbstick tensions are really cool, having 3 inputs now instead of 2, 3 trigger locks instead of 2, brand new design paddles that are a little shorter and a lot more clicky feel really nice. The new internal rechargeable battery along with the ability to basically turn this thing into an old school 360 controller. All really cool features. So if you've been a previous Elite controller user and you're looking at this thing, overall this thing is going to feel just like the Elite controller that you know and love, with some minor differences in the feel, but overall it's got a lot of really cool new features. And it's just a much more sturdy, compact controller. Like, even all the features that have kind of been there since the original Elite, they feel better. They feel much more structurally designed and kind of make the things that were on the old Elite controller feel cheap. They've done a really good job of this thing, kind of rebuilding it from the ground up. Everything on this controller just feels so much more just correctly built. They said they built this thing from the ground up. They didn't just kind of take this thing and add a few new features. I believe it from just holding this thing in my hands. It feels entirely new while still having that great old Elite feel. So anyway, down below in the comments, if you guys are Xbox users, are you going to be picking up this controller? Right now it is retailing at $180 US. So definitely on the pricey side, but one thing I could promise with Elite controllers is they're durable and you will get a good use out of them. The reason I prefer buying controllers like this, even though they're more expensive, is they're actually going to last a good amount of time. You're not going to get some stupid thumbstick drift or break a few buttons here and there or just have this awful cheap plastic like you will in the normal $60 controllers, even though they're cheaper. I think you get what you pay for, and I'm really happy to have this brand new Elite controller because I know this thing is going to last me a good amount of time, just like my previous one did. Like I said, down below in the comments, let me know if you guys are looking at picking one of these up. What are your thoughts on the controller from what you've seen? Like I said, I haven't played with the controller yet. I just now unboxed it like you guys saw. But I think this could turn out to be one of the best, if not overall the best controller on the market. It just offers a lot of really cool things that no other controller does. Overall, I'm really excited to be able to use this controller. I've loved my original Elite, like I said, and I'm excited to start a whole new chapter of gaming with the new Elite Series 2. But anyway, that is going to do it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure to smack the Schmidt out of that like button down below. And if you guys are new and looking forward to more video game content, you guys are in the right place. Hit that subscribe button down below as well. And there's a video so you guys know when those videos go live. Hope you guys all have a good one. I will see you guys on another video. So long, everybody.